let's move on to this one right here, Veritasium.
In 1999, the German newspaper Die Zeit ran an experiment. They asked a falafel salesman and former theater director Sala Bengali who in the world he would most like to be connected to. He chose his favorite actor, Marlon Brando. So the reporters then searched for a chain of friends, family, or acquaintances, people who knew each other on a first-name basis.
Okay, so I'm just gonna like summarize some sections of it because, like I said, I've already seen all this, so the react part is kind of like this would fall into the category of me just showing this guy's video. So if you want to see the whole video, obviously, I'll go ahead and link it right now. Check out the video. Be from here, right? So, actually, let me go ahead and put. Oh, I was gonna put in a description of which video it was. Anyway, not everybody, but a lot of people already have heard of like 6 degrees of separation, right? It's the idea that anybody on the planet is connected to anybody else by maximum, 6 points of contact. So it's like a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend kind of thing. Anyway, so they go into talking about how they made this kind of discovery and blah blah blah, network shortcuts, and some like experimenting with this stuff, and tests. Strength of weak ties had to do with how your weaker connections with people, like something that's like an acquaintance, can have a huge effect on your life. Anyway, I would say watch the whole video because there's a lot of interesting stuff in here. Small world, that whole thing with you go on vacation somewhere far away and then you see somebody that's like, wow, how the heck did I happen to see you here, kind of thing. It makes me think of when I was in Japan. I was staying at a hostel, and yeah, just happened to meet another Filipino dude that was also from the same area as me, and it's like we just so happened to be at the same place at the same time on the other side of the fucking planet. Like we didn't know each other before, but it's like still we had a lot of um proximity, things in common, which was really interesting. Um how quickly disease could spread, that part's pretty neat. Network hub preferential attachment. All right, let's go to this. I think this is the part that I was watching that had me thinking I wanted to have this on stream.
We had a very clear expectation of how that network should look like.
Barabashi thought the distribution of pages and links would resemble a bell curve, similar to what you'd get for people's height across a population. Most sites would have some average number of links, and there would be very few outliers either side. But that is not what he saw.
And so we measured the distribution, and it didn't look anything like what we expected.
The curve started out steep. Loads of websites had not many links. Then there was this really long tail.
And here we saw web pages that had not only a little more, but sometimes 100 times more links than the average degree or the average node on the website.
These were websites like Yahoo, super connectors that linked to thousands of other sites. Barabashi called them hubs because when he mapped out the network, they resembled the hub of a wheel with spokes going out to hundreds of other pages. And it was these hubs that made the web a small world, not shortcuts. So Barabashi wondered, how could this
He called them hubs because this isn't even the thing I wanted to react to. I was like doing some dishes while this part was playing. I was kind of listening in the background, not picking everything up, but because they resembled spokes on a wheel, he called it a hub because it's a wheel. Like that's what you call a hub, is a thing that things connect to. It doesn't have to be like, oh, he called it a hub because we also call this thing that's a hub a hub. It's like, yeah, because it's a hub. What the heck? I mean, so where I grew up, I would think of it as a hub because it was like just a small town that there's not fucking shit to do there, right? But it was near dead center of a bunch of big, cities. I mean, it's like hour, 2, 3 hours away, but we had easy access to each of these cities relative to other people around us. Like if you lived in one of those cities, it'd take you like 4 or 5 hours to get to the other one, right? But from our place, it's only 2 hours to that one, or 2 hours to that one, 2 hours, so that it's also a hub. And yeah, we called, well, I called our area a hub. I don't know how much, people actually thought about it, but people would freaking leave town to go fucking do shit over the weekend. Whatever. Anyway, fucking silly pause there.
Apply to other networks too.
Most real networks, or virtually all large networks, follow two very fundamental principles. First, any large network out there never pops out as a large network, but it grows, right? You have a tiny World Wide Web in 1991, and now we have trillions of nodes on the World Wide Web. How did we get to 1 to a trillion? One node at a time, one website at a time. All the networks out there, no matter how old, how fast they emerged, they always emerge to some kind of growth process. So if you think about networks, you must build in that growth process. Number two, when a new node comes in, you join Facebook, who you're gonna connect to, right? And it is somewhat unpredictable, but it's biased. Your connections are always biased towards the more connected nodes, simply because you are more likely to know a more connected node than a less connected node. We named this process preferential attachment.
Barabási reasoned that these two principles could explain how hubs naturally emerge when a network grows. So together with his colleague, Reike Albert, he ran a simulation.
We've also got a simulation for this.
They started with a simple network of just a few connected nodes. Then they began adding new nodes to the network one at a time, with just one condition. They'd be more likely to connect to nodes that already had more links.
That's so cool. Looks very biological, very organic. Also, I like how the nodes come out and they don't just sort of stop in one spot. They kind of like wiggle around and like find their...
Okay, we're done with this video. I got to the part I wanted to talk about. Anyway, like I said, I saw the first half of the video. It's pretty neat. Getting some of the history of the whole concept of 6 degrees of separation, and yeah, and what the thinking went into it and came out of it. So definitely check out the video. And again, I'm not even watching the second half on stream. I just wanted to talk about this whole network part because it was making me think of React content again. And so it's related to the last video for me anyway, because one of my go-to React content streamers, YouTubers that I enjoy watching. Obviously, I mentioned Asmongold, but I watch a lot of, not a lot, but I'll watch Smugglana. I'm a fan, though. If I ever react to her content, I might talk some shit because there's just some of her quirks that I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Anyway, Smugglana and also Cypress. I enjoy their content. I like Cypress's old model better, but okay, if it makes you happy. So yeah, I enjoy their React content, and it got me thinking, like, dude, I want to make some React content because I have other things to say that these two aren't saying. The same with Asmongold and some others. But the thing is, and I think it's hilarious, is the reason I watch Asmongold and also Shoe on Head and a couple others that aren't coming to mind at the moment is because of Smugglana. Like I knew of Shoe on Head and I knew of Asmongold and I've seen their videos here and there, but I never really regularly watched their videos or subbed to them until I was watching Smugglana's videos, reacting to their videos, and now I'm like, okay, well, obviously I like their content, so I'll watch their content, you know? So I think that is, in my own experience, a positive and the hopeful, I guess, result of React content, right? Is that you're actually bringing more viewers to the original content creator. And yeah, so I think it can be a good thing if done right. And yeah, a little shout out to Smugalana for reacting to some folks that I that I enjoy watching now. Anyway, we're gonna move on from this one. That's the whole thing I wanted to draw the connection with the whole network thing is yeah, some React content creators are kind of a hub for some people to find the content they want to find. Same thing goes for the Instagram aggregators and content thieves. Sometimes it works out well.